fellow Toastmasters, and John. How did it all begin? We're talking about Valentine's here. And I was curious about Valentine's, not only because today is Valentine's, but because I used to work for Sherry's Berries in another lifetime. And Valentine's was Sherry's Berries' Christmas of sales. The day before, the day of, and the day after, nobody slept, and I'm not kidding. I became a dipper, a deliverer, a manager, a cleaner-upper, and bank deposit person for 3 days because everybody else was doing the same. And I thought, how did this all begin to make Valentine's such a big deal? And so I got to reading some information about the history of Valentine's, and I discovered it really wasn't based on love as we celebrate today. It was based back in the 3rd century on a pope that went against the emperor's rule. And what happened was in Rome was experiencing a war, almost always, but also during the same time there was a plague. And the plague was killing approximately 5,000 people a day. So the ranks in the soldiers were dying very quickly. And so the emperor decided that soldiers could not marry because single soldiers were much more fierce and could be much more relied upon. Because, I mean, after all, if you have a married soldier, he's concerned about going back home or his wife or his children or what have you. So he forbid marriages during that time period. Well, Pope Valentine thought that was ridiculous because he felt that marrying a man and a woman was blessed by God, and how can we deny that as human beings? So he went ahead and had marriages in secret. Well, the emperor found out about it and threw him in jail and sentenced him to die. While he was in jail, one of the jailers that was there asked him if he couldn't bless his daughter, who was blind. And so the daughter was brought to the jail, and he blessed the daughter, and she was able to see after that blessing. And so that's what gave him his sainthood about 300 years later. But it didn't stop the emperor from killing him. They stoned him and he didn't die. So he ended up being beheaded. And that's where Valentine's came in, because the simple act of blessing this young girl who was blind and the miracle of her seeing was kindness and love that he was able to give this young girl before he died. So it kind of grew and built on that facts throughout the years. In 1537, King Henry VII declared Valentine's as a holiday. And good old Shakespeare, our friend and storyteller, really built on that with Romeo and Juliet and other stories. And I found out that even today, Juliet still gets about 1,000 Valentine cards on Valentine's in Italy. I thought that was kind of interesting. But since then, in the 1900s, the Industrial Revolution happened, and they discovered that they could make quantities of greeting cards. Well, Valentine's came along, and they decided to do Valentine cards. And in 1913, Hallmark jumped on the bandwagon and started their whole line of Hallmark cards. And so history from Hallmark, from then on, they sell millions a year. Same time period, about 1897, the son of a baker decided that he would dabble in chocolates, because chocolates were becoming very popular from Europe. Europe had the deep, dark chocolate kind of bitter. Well, when in America we started experimenting with the milk that we had on Frasche, the farms nearby in Pennsylvania and such, and we developed our own chocolate, which developed into milk chocolate. And from that discovery, Robert Cadbury decided to make a bunch of chocolates and sell them during Valentine's, and it was a big hit. And you know the Cadbury egg that we see commercials on television, that's who started the chocolates during Valentine's. And so because of Cadbury, Sherry's Berries are dipping their strawberries in chocolate. And milk chocolate was one of the most popular chocolates that was sold during the Valentine's period. So I haven't mentioned about roses. There's probably about 183 million rose stems that are sold during the Valentine's period. And I also discovered that the Valentine heart boxes, those are made starting January for the next year. And every single one does get sold the next year. Isn't that fascinating? So Sherry's Berries and Valentine's go hand in hand, and they still do today. I still dip strawberries because of Sherry's Berries. Sherry's Berries online still sells Sherry's Berries via mailing. And so it just goes on and on. And the whole reason why Sherry Fitzpatrick of Sherry's Berries dipped strawberries during Valentine's was a thank you gift as a mortgage broker for her clients in Los Angeles. And they complimented her, they wooed her, so she had enough confidence to go, yeah, next year I'm going to make these for sale. And she did, coming up here to Northern California. And the rest was history for Sherry's Berries. So that terrible beginning of a pope being beheaded developed into a very lucrative and large business in chocolate and roses and cards. And I want to leave you with one thought. 63% of men never have a plan for Valentine's. Mr. Toastmaster.
Grace, thank you so much for your speech today. What? I really enjoyed it. My biggest issue, of course, though, wait, it's not vocal variety. My biggest issue is the complete, I felt really lack of visual aids. I mean, you had those, but you didn't really do a whole lot with them. So, and for my personal thing, I really thought this could have been a great sales speech because you do make your own strawberries. So it's like, let me display a thing of strawberries, and I thought those look awesome, and I do it better than Sherry's Berries.
You just wanted to eat some.
Well, yeah, there's always that. So, yeah, if you guys didn't know, she makes amazing Sherry's Berries. She makes amazing berries. I thought it was very relevant to the audience. You know, of course, it's Valentine's Day, and we all need to know it. I thought the history and like working with Sherry's Berries and some of about Valentine, like that was, I mean, that was really well researched. Actually, that's, yeah. And then, again, were you knowledgeable and you spelled, were you well researched? Yeah, it was obviously that it was knowledgeable and well researched. It wasn't. But again, like the speech was for visual aids. Yeah, that doesn't really count. You didn't really use, you have to use them.
No, you don't.
I think so.
Visual aid is a visual aid. You don't have to use them. You don't have to incorporate them. It's something to look at. It's visual. But we can talk about this later.
Well, that definition I don't appreciate.
We'll talk about it.
But otherwise, yeah, it was a great speech. I loved it. It was good. Thank you.
Thank you.